Hey, what's up? It's Dave here from the Matt and Dave Show, thanking you for listening and reminding you to like, share, and subscribe if you like what you hear. I think you will, but you know, I'm biased.
He's Dave. I'm Matt, and this is the Matt and Dave Show.
Ooh, I like that pause.
We are back.
And this is the Matt and Dave Show.
Yeah, I've actually been working on that the entire time we've been off.
I just picture you
You
in the
know,
mirror.
I need to. No, not in the mirror. It's in the shower. I do this all in the
shower.
shower. You know, we need to change it up a little bit to keep it the same.
This is the Matt. I like the little Shatner in there.
Yeah, like that?
Yeah, it's always nice to throw a little Shatner in there. In honor of Canada Day. It's not Canada Day. It's not.
Isn't it?
I don't know. Who cares? It's Canada Day.
I don't know.
I'm
Canadians,
kidding.
maybe?
I'm kidding. To our Canadian listener, I apologize. I apologize profusely.
We have one listener on every continent.
Canada's just a country.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's the only
That's the
listener
only
on this
listener we have.
continent.
Oh, damn
I
it.
like when you laugh at my joke and then you think about it and you realize how much funnier it is.
It is.
That was
It's
great.
really good.
So I realized something while we were off. People need the Matt and Dave Show
Yeah.
because I went to the library and so what's actually funny. So I was at the
A minute four.
I was
a
at-
minute four before
Yeah.
we talk about the fucking library.
I was at the brewery and I ran into the librarian and I was like, I know this woman.
Right.
And it hit me. I was like, oh, she's the librarian, one of the librarians at the library. So I went up and I said, okay, so if I buy you a beer, can you waive all my late fees? And we made a joke about it. So next time I went to the library, I saw her. I was checking out It. I was watching It again.
Yep.
And
Old one or the new one?
The new one.
Yep.
And she asked me, she's like, have you seen this yet? And I said, yeah, I've seen it. I loved it. It was great. It's fantastic. She's like, yeah, I like the first one better. I was like, well, the first one was a television miniseries, so it's not really the first one. It's just a different version of it.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. But like, I like how I liked how it was, the first one better. And I said, well, I think it's gonna be great. The second one is gonna be fantastic. And she gave me this look like, what? Like, well, yeah, like, how, like, in the story, like, the first one, they were adults, too. And she's like, yeah. I was like, well, I mean, think of the movies as, like, the miniseries. So, this miniseries was 2 nights, right? It was 1 night and 2 nights, so it was, like, 4 hours.
Yep.
She's like, yeah, I remember that. I said, well, this is going to be 2 movies. So the first movie was all about them being kids. And she's like, oh, because that's why I like the first one, because they were adults and they had flashbacks.
Right,
I was like, well, that's what the second one is going to be. And they've got a lot of great talent. And I was like, you know what? If she listened to the Matt and Dave Show, she'd probably know this stuff. And that's when it hit me. You know what? People need us. People need us, Dave.
Oh. See, when you said people need us, I thought they were going to be actual, like you had stories of people saying they needed us, not you condescendingly believe that people need us.
Well, that is my MO.
Oh, you know what you need? You need the Matt and Dave Show. Oh my God, you're like the you need Jesus guy.
Oh God,
you need Jesus. You need the Matt and Dave Show.
I got actually a funny story about that. I'll tell you off the show.
Tell me later. How have you been? How are things?
Things are
magical.
Things are fantastic.
What have you been watching on this break? Now that your schedule is a little more narrowed down, like what have you been watching and loving, and what have you been watching and hating? What have you been watching?
Did you mean to do that, or was it just like a pause that you accidentally, like a mental break?
No, that was actually intentional. Hey,
that's a good question. There's a lot that's been going on since the last time we did a show.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, there's been some shit.
Yeah, like Avengers took over the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yep.
There have been some funny memes about that.
There's been copious amounts of funny memes about that.
Deadpool came out. Deadpool's been great.
Yeah. Solo came out.
That's where I'd really like to start today, because did you see it yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, so Solo is we all know the drama behind the scenes with Solo.
We have talked about it exclusively.
Phil Lord, Chris Miller were hired to do Solo, and they were hired because they wanted to do like a funnier take on it. And they were fired more than halfway through production. And then they brought Ron Howard on, and everybody was freaking out. They reshot like most of the movie. I think 80% of the movie is Ron Howard.
Okay.
And 20% is Phil Lord and Chris Miller. You don't know which is which, but if you watch the movie, you can kind of tell. But then everybody was like, "Oh well, Aldrich Killian, is that his name?"
Something like that. Yeah.
Whatever. The guy who they got to play Solo. They're like, "Well, he's an awful actor. They had to bring in this acting coach, and he's not any good, and the story sucks, and yada yada yada." So everybody was like, Solo's gonna be crap, and Disney's already knows it's gonna be a bomb, and blah 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 blah. Yeah. So I guess everybody's expectation was just completely shot.
Yeah.
But some people went to go see it, and when reviews started coming out, people were like, you know what, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad at all.
That is the consensus that I have heard.
I had not heard one person say anything negative about it. I mean, there's, it has its faults. Sure. Every movie has its... Avengers Infinity War has its faults.
Absolutely.
That's probably going to be the new standard now for everything. Infinity War.
Look, Infinity War had faults, people.
A lot of faults.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, when I saw Solo because I had a $5 movie coupon. I saw it during the day.
Yeah.
I took the kid because it was a Tuesday. He's off of school, so we had nothing to do. I heard all the positive stuff about it, and I thought, well, why not? I'll go sit through it. And I got to tell you, man, it's like what I said was it's the most Star Wars-y film since Empire.
Yeah, you did say that.
I did say that, and I believe it too. Like it felt like it was very Ron Howard-ish, like very fantasy-driven. Small but still big. Like really, it wasn't this big epic space opera like the prequels tried to be.
Sure,
definitely the best prequel to date. Better than all three of the prequels.
And Rogue One.
See, okay, here's the thing: Rogue One and Solo, I think, are two different movies.
No, I agree.
Rogue One was a dark heist movie.
Yes.
That's what I think. And it was a one-off.
Yeah.
It's a one-off. When you see the movie, you're like, oh, well, they're not going to do any more. In fact, if you want to say the sequel to it was A New Hope, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but Solo is, it's very much kind of a throwback to the original Star Wars and Empire, and how there are different worlds, and it felt like a different universe, but it was very small. Like the set pieces seemed small. There were some bigger moments. The train part which you see in the trailer, that's great. That's fantastic. But it wasn't effects heavy. It really felt like it got back to the roots of Star Wars, and I think that's why they probably went with Ron Howard.
Yeah. Okay.
And because it had a very classic Ron Howard Willow style fantasy, big in scale, but really kind of feels like a small movie. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It took me about 5 minutes to realize that wasn't Harrison Ford. I bought into it right away. I was like, okay, well, this is 12, 13, 15 years before we see him in A New Hope.
Right. Different person.
I got it,
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Glover as Lando. Again, it was not Billy D. Williams.
Right.
But it was still the very smooth, cool Lando.
Yep.
The new characters they got were great. A lot of the Easter eggs and callbacks to stuff that we know and have heard. I have to go watch it again because there are probably a lot of things that I missed.
Sure.
And I tell you, this has got me excited for the other movies that they're talking about.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we discussed it personally, but I'm feeling a little Star Wars fatigue.
I mean,
I was feeling Star Wars fatigue before Solo.
Okay.
Because it was there's a new Star Wars movie every year.
Yeah.
And
it's the new Christmas.
The Last Jedi, people poo-pooed on. I loved it, but I'm so sick of the arguments about it. They're announcing, they want to do a Boba Fett movie, they want to do a Yoda movie, they want to do an Obi-Wan movie, and I'm just like, after Solo, just stop doing it. But this movie really kind of sets up, if they wanted to do a Boba Fett movie, they could do it as a sequel to this movie. If they wanted to do an Obi-Wan movie, they could do it as a sequel to this movie.
Right.
And I can't tell you why, because if I told you why, it would spoil some of the movie.
Yeah.
But I think if you go into it and you look and you think, when you're watching, you'll be like, yeah, I could see how that would all fit.
Yeah.
Han and Chewie and Lando, they don't have to be the main characters, but they could be in the universe.
So I've been mulling around an argument in my brain space.
Okay.
And I haven't actually put it into words yet. but I'm going to do it right now.
Okay.
So this is where I'm really taking a chance here. Could you make an argument that Star Wars is not an actual like series of movies anymore? Star Wars could be just a genre. Like you're doing a Star Wars genre pick. Like it's the new Western. Like you're just doing a movie in Star Wars.
That's a great question. I'm not quite sure how to answer that.
You know what I mean, though? Like, it really.
I think it's too specific. I think it is too specific. If you let's look at Marvel for an example. Okay, when you go off and make a comic book movie, you don't say I'm making a Marvel movie.
No, and I understand
right?
that. I understand that. But
within
competition within.
But within Marvel, well, there's still competition with Star Wars.
You're right.
But within Marvel, like you can have the big epic, team up Avengers. You can also have the heist type Ant-Man movie.
Yep.
You can have the Shakespearean operatic Thor
movies.
You can have the war movie as in Captain America.
Yeah,
so you can do different types of genres of movies in that universe, in that world, in that brand. And I think Star Wars is the same way. I think there's the thing that I liked about the original Star Wars, and I think people will say about the original Star Wars, is that it felt like a space western, right?
Yes.
With a little, Kurosawa kicked in there.
Yes.
A little bit,
yes.
And I would say that this Solo felt like a throwback to the old classic Western, space Western type deal with heists and, gun battles and not a lot of laser swords. No laser swords, really. So I think you can look at, Rogue One was a heist, was like a heist movie. Excuse me. I really don't know what to say about the prequels. The prequels are the prequels, I guess. I don't know.
The prequels are the political intrigue entry into the series.
There you go. Or tried to be.
They tried to be.
Yeah.
Which is honestly the thing I really enjoyed about them. Like I would have just watched an entire series of movies of Palpatine's rise.
Well, see, now here's the thing. Now I think that you've got all these little offshoots from the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah, I would watch that movie.
I think doing it within the the Star Wars saga, what we know is the episodic Star Wars.
You don't have to throw a Skywalker in it.
You don't. Well, no. I think in the episodic version you do. You really do. But now that we've Rogue One was successful, it's established. You could have characters within the Star Wars universe that aren't the Skywalkers.
Yes.
Solo I think did a very good job of introducing us to another world. The other thing too is this may be a little spoiler, or I'm just going to.
It's fine.
Word it for you a little bit.
Yeah.
But what I loved about this, I said this to my son. What I loved about Solo is that there was no Death Star.
Yes.
Like that's going on.
Yes.
Like that is still going on.
No, absolutely.
During this time, I'm thinking of like all the things that are happening like in Rebels and like the Clone Wars. All this stuff happened, but in this movie,
it's just it doesn't affect them.
Some of it does affect it.
Right.
And again, you'll see once you watch the movie, it does still tie together in some way, shape, or form. It's still a very small universe.
Right. Well, but that's the thing is like people tend to forget when they're watching Star Wars that you're talking about it like an entire galaxy.
Yeah.
Like you live your life right now in a city, in a state, in a country, on a planet, and there are billions of people worldwide that could give a shit less about what goes on outside of a 100-foot radius outside of that.
Right.
Like it just doesn't it's too big for them.
Well, I always wondered like how big were these actual planets in the Star Wars universe? Like, are we talking like, are they dwarf-sized planets like Pluto?
No, they're regular.
Like, they're not Saturn or Mars type.
They're to put a Star Trek term on it, they're M-class planets.
I like what you did there.
Yeah,
put the Star Trek. On the it's great. It's fantastic.
Thank you. It's
a good job.
I made a discommendation reference yesterday, and someone else got it. I was like, oh my god,
right on.
Yeah, I'm impressed. But yeah, I mean, like, but it is like that. But that's what stories are. Like, it's most people don't care. They're just trying to, moisture farm on a fucking desert and eke by a living.
Well, that's what I think is great about Star Wars is that the Empire, the way that it all works, like it does affect everybody.
It does, yes.
You know, there are stormtroopers everywhere. The Empire has stations everywhere. Like they are ruling the galaxy. So, you know, there are many different corners of this universe where the Empire can still touch it without having a direct effect on it, like, say, you know, the Skywalkers or, you know, the Rebel Alliance and how that works, you know?
Well, it's like, so there used to be this movie called Sergeant York, which was an actual
I remember.
biography. Right. But he's this guy from like a very small town in, I think it's like Kentucky or Tennessee or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't know what's going on 4,000 miles away, and he gets called up to serve his country.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, and they even do a thing in the they show a shot of the newspaper in the movie, and like what's going on in Europe is like page 3. Like it's still all very local, hyper localized type of stuff.
Right.
And you know, and when he finally goes over there, he becomes this big, you know, war hero and stuff like that. But he doesn't know until he's told what it is. And I've always used that as a sense of scale for this type of thing. And that is just on his own actual planet. Like that is not on anybody else's planet or anything like that. So, I mean, the sense of scope and the fact that I guess my point is you can tell these very small stories very easily within the expanse of the rules set forth already.
Right. Well, and that makes me wonder what's this live action TV show going to be that Jon Favreau is developing.
I hope it's very small stories.
You know, but see, can it be small stories? Like, is that really what Star Wars is about? Or does it have to be this grand, you know, I mean, listen, even though Solo wasn't this big epic movie that, like, say, Last Jedi was, you know, and it doesn't have to be, it was still a pretty big adventure.
Yes.
You know, it showed us a lot of creatures and a lot of different types of people and things and ships and...
Right, but think of all the movies that you've seen that are not grand space epics that still manage to tell it a good adventure story.
True. It's very true.
Just on one planet.
We're talking about Star Trek?
No. I mean, like, just like a Western genre or something like, you know what I mean? But like, it doesn't have to always shoot out for the stars. It doesn't. It absolutely does not, to tell a good story with. And that's why I was thinking more genrely. I don't know. I just put it out there.
No, that's a good question. You know, and I don't know. I think that if you're going to have something be Star Wars, it's got to have a certain element to it that makes it Star Wars, whether that be the Empire or Jedi or, you know,
Space Wheat,
X-Wings or whatever it is. You know, I think it has to have some element in it that makes it Star Wars. Otherwise, what is it?
There's a very famous canceled game that was set for, I think it was EA was making it. I could be wrong on that. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong. It was called 1313. Anyways, it was basically,
I remember hearing about this.
Right. It was a Star Wars game where you were like a bounty hunter in the lower levels of Coruscant. Like that's it. That's the whole game. Just you on this one planet playing through the criminal syndicate of the main capital planet in Star Wars, and it looked amazing.
There were rumors that that TV show that Lucas was developing that had like 72 hours written already was about that.
Yeah, which would be awesome.
Right.
It would be so cool because there's so many like just characters and stuff that you could bring in.
But you know that they would, and you know, in a sense, they did stuff like that in the Clone Wars.
They did,
in the
and
series.
those were the interesting characters too.
Agreed. But it still was Star Wars. Like it was still set on Coruscant. It was still, you know, you still had run-ins with, you know, Jedi, and
right.
You saw, well, the Clone Wars were still going on.
Right, but I'm saying like, but I don't know. I just think you could do that without maybe like once every 6 episodes, like. Oh, there's Han in a bar drinking, or you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to, but the stories work on their own. And I think that's what makes it, at least for me, more of a genre-based capacity. That, like, you know, it works on its own in that way.
Right.
I think it's to the point now where if you wanted to make that leap, you could make that leap. Just Just my thoughts.
No, I think that's
Just
fair.
my thoughts in my thought space.
I think that's a fair argument. I mean, there's something to be said. I don't know if you would you break it down as a genre, though.
No, I know. And I know that's a bull. Like, I know it's a big step. I know it's a big step.
Because it's a brand.
It is a brand. It absolutely is.
Maybe there needs to be more of them before it's a genre.
That's fair. That's absolutely
That
fair.
makes sense.
Well, and the funny thing is, you were talking about like a space western,
right.
And I never really viewed the Star Wars as a space western.
Oh, I did.
More only because I've seen more space westerns. Like Firefly is a space western.
Firefly is a great example of that.
Like that is like a true like space western.
True.
Like I've always viewed Star Wars more of a space World War II.
Okay. That's fair.
Like more of that adventure-y, pulpy space.
You're
World
talking
War
about
II.
the original trilogy, though. What
Yes,
about
yeah.
what about the prequels, or what about the sequels?
No, but we were talking about the original trilogy specifically.
Right. Sure.
Like that's always more of a people that get swept up in space World War II.
Mm-hmm.
That's just always been my take. The Western thing. I would have agreed until I'd seen other examples of a space western that I thought nailed it a little more.
So you think you agreed with me until what, 1998, when Serenity was on television, when Firefly was on TV?
I mean,
it was 98. It was more like 2000.
Yeah, it was. I think it was. Like, I mean, I'm sure there had been better examples. Like, was it Battle Beyond the Stars? I thought was a little better as a space western than that, but that was actually more. Battle Beyond the Stars was technically Space Magnificent Seven.
Right.
Have you ever seen Battle Beyond the Stars?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude, it is okay. So there's a running trip. Like people just remake the Magnificent Seven like 500 different ways,
right?
500 different times.
Yeah, sure.
And they just keep throwing it in different genres, and it works for the most part.
Absolutely.
Every time you throw it in a different
Absolutely.
genre. Like I've yet to seen something that really didn't stick with that formula.
Right.
And Battle Beyond the Stars was the Space Magnificent Seven. Like this guy's home planet's getting attacked by this, empire-y type of thing. So he runs around and he's trying to desperately recruit people to fight and help save his planet. And he finds 7 different people, wayward outlaw, outcast type of thing. And they all agree. They're like, yeah, fuck it for the right money. Or yes, I believe in your cause. Or one girl's like from a race of people that are like, they believe it's her destiny. Like all of her people believe it's their destiny to die fighting. Like that is her joy and passion in life, is to die in glory space combat. So she's like, yeah, I'm in. Clearly, let's do this. This is it. This is my chance.
What is it called?
Battle Beyond the Stars.
Okay.
But it was like one of those movies that was made in a rush to capitalize on the Star Wars thing. Like Star Wars was all of a sudden a massive, massive global hit, and the rest of the studios are like, oh shit, we got to make something. Battle Beyond the Stars was one of those. Well, I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up on the main screen.
Yeah, I can't. I got no service in the new place.
Battle Beyond.
We got zero service over here.
Stars. Yeah.
Battle Beyond the
I mean,
Stars.
look at this.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah. I mean, it is.
Rebels, Outlaws, Mercenaries, 7 Magnificent Warriors. Wow.
Yeah, they did not even like.
Why don't you just call it the Magnificent Seven in space?
That's what it is. That's absolutely what it is.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, but and even that isn't that bad.
George Papard,
Yeah,
John Saxon,
yeah,
Richard Thomas. Wow.
yeah. James Horner did the score.
James Horner did the score.
The store. He did the store.
Wow.
But yeah.
I can't believe it's a Orion film, huh? Wow, I can't believe I've never heard of it.
Yep. I think it's 1980, I want to say. It came
Wow.
out, like maybe 81.
I'll have to check that out. Look
Yeah.
at that. You've got like alien looking dudes. You got a cowboy looking dude.
Yep.
You
That's
got
George Papard. George Papard is like space cowboy. Like
Wow.
he's full on space cowboy in this.
You got a She-Ra looking chick.
Yeah. That's the Amazon girl.
You got was that like a Frankenstein looking dude?
Yeah. So that dude, the bald dude with the
Like a
thing-
Hercules looking guy?
Yeah, he's
Wow.
he's like the psychic. He does like psychic stuff.
Okay.
And shit like that. It's interesting. But yeah. But yeah, Battle Beyond the Stars.
All right.
But
Well,
it really was just like it was that mad rush.
was it awful?
No.
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 But like But not like was it
Now,
good awful? Like was it awful awful?
here's my caveat. I haven't seen it since I was like maybe 10 or 12.
Okay, it probably doesn't hold up. But I would love to see it.
I would love to see it again, just to see. But I mean, but it's
That's
one of those
awesome.
things like my memories of it, like having seen it now and knowing what it was when I watched it, it followed the trope very, very, very well.
Right. Because I've actually recently started to realize how many movies that I loved when I was a younger kid just really got awful.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Like
still
what?
watch them. I'm not gonna say.
You're not gonna say?
I don't want to say no because I don't want to poo-poo on the movies that I loved as a kid. I'm still coming to terms with it, Dave.
Really?
Yes, I'm not okay with the way that I feel about these movies now.
Wow.
Yes.
It's that personal?
Yes, it's that personal.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about
No,
that.
it's not.
I actually, so before we got back and decided we're going to do a show, I posed a question to you.
You did?
I did.
What was the question?
What was your first R-rated movie?
Oh,
that
yes.
you saw in the theaters. It was
Yes.
a Twitter thing, and I was curious
Yes.
what your response
I couldn't
was.
remember for the life of me because I didn't really. It might have been. Actually, was The Crow rated PG-13 or was it rated R?
Crow was rated R, I believe.
Was it? Because
Find
if
out.
that's the case, then it was The Crow.
You saw The Crow first?
I want to say it was PG-13 though, bro.
All right. The Crow was rated...
It's right there. It's right next to it, isn't it?
R, yeah, it's rated R.
Oh shit! Then it was The Crow.
Yeah, you saw The Crow.
Okay, good. Whew. That makes me feel so much better than my original answer.
Yeah. So you want to talk about what your original answer was?
My original answer, I couldn't remember if it was striptease
Oh, wow.
or if it was.
I don't think
I'm not
striptease-
striptease. I'm sorry, no, Showgirls.
Okay,
If
yeah.
it was Showgirls or what was the other one that I told you?
I don't remember.
There was one other one, but they were both like. Well, American Pie was rated R too.
But American Pie could not have been the first fucking R-rated movie you saw in a theater.
No, I'm just trying to think of like all the movies that came out when I was 18. But I did see The Crow in theaters.
Yeah.
My dad took me to see The Crow when I was 1994, so I was 14. That seems about the right age. I just recently took Jordan to his first R-rated movie
Yeah.
in the theaters.
Yeah. Mine was way earlier.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, what was your answer?
Mine was Aliens.
And how old were you?
I think I was maybe 9.
Damn.
9 or 10. That shit fucks you up,
No,
man.
it was your dad who took you.
It
yes.
was my dad
Okay.
who took me.
So, did he know what he was taking you to?
I believe he did know what he was taking me to.
Respect.
I believe that he really knew. Because he then repeated that when I saw the third Exorcist movie in the theaters in 1990.
Right.
Which is even more fucked up.
It's true.
Like, I will never, like, look at a pair of, like, retractable hedge clipper things. Like, there was this grandma that crawls across the ceiling. Like, that shit fucking sticks with you when you're that age. Like, on the big screen.
Yeah.
No, dude. But the funny thing is, in Aliens, it's not the loud noises and the fighting that got me. It's Ripley's nightmare scene at the very beginning that scared the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I'd never seen the original Alien when I went into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no fucking context clues about what the hell was going on.
Right.
So it really hits you, like, when you haven't seen the original or know anything about it. Like, why? What is this? Why is that cat hissing? What the? And then, the thing starts to, like, appear in her stomach. You're like, what?
Right.
What is that? No. I had nightmares for months about shit just bursting out of people's stomachs. What the fuck, man?
Right.
But it was cool. Like, it was a really cool movie. Like, I even then, I'm like, this is a cool movie.
You just
Like,
thought it was cool that you were seeing an R-rated movie at 9 years old.
I honestly, at like 9, I might have been 9 or 10. I think it was like 87. So I think I was 10.
I think when you're under 10 years old, you don't really have an idea of what's good or not.
Right. But the fact that it was R-rated didn't register with me at that
Sure.
point. It was just like, he wanted to
Yeah,
go
that's
see
fair,
this
too.
movie. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, we'll go see a movie. Sure. Like, he never gave me a heads up on it. I
Yeah.
don't ever recall, but like, all right, Joey, look,
Oh my God.
it might be a little scary. Like, no heads up, no nothing. I just remember going like, oh, yeah, we're going to see a movie. Hey, let's go see a movie. All right, cool. What's it called? Aliens. What's it about? Well, I guess would be aliens. All right, great. Yeah. Eat this. Get away from her, you bitch.
Right, because that sounded like the only alien you knew of was like
E.T.
E.T.
Right. I think I went from like E.T. to James Cameron's Aliens. Like, that's a leap, man. That's a fucking leap. Like acid-blooded marine fighting aliens.
Think about that mashup now.
Yeah.
You got E.T. bursting out of somebody's chest. I'm thinking it's like the Universal ride. What does that ride look like now? That's a lot scarier now.
You know what? It would be the finger that comes through first. The glowing finger that comes through. Bursts through the chest.
I'll be right here.
No. Ouch. But a slower, more menacing. Ouch.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Change mine to the soup.
Oh my goodness.
He had the special. I had the special. Change mine to the soup. But yeah.
Oh, dude, there was a great mashup. That site ripped the T-shirts.
Yes.
They had some great mashups yesterday from Spaceballs and Calvin Hobbes.
Oh yeah.
They had Lone Star and Barf. So Lone Star being Calvin and Barf as wait, which one was the tiger? Hobbs. Yeah. So Lone Star was Calvin, Hobbs was Barf, and they were in like this sled looking like the Winnebago. And then they had Dark Helmet as Calvin, and then Colonel Sanders as it was fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
If I was more of a Calvin Hobbs fan, I probably would have gotten one.
So
awesome.
Speaking of Spaceballs,
Okay.
Rick Moranis
I heard.
descended from the Canadian heavens. Shout out to Canada, our well-known listener. And reprised his voice role on the Goldbergs.
So it was a voice?
It was just a voice. He didn't actually
Really?
appear. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Because I heard, the headlines were Rick Moranis repraises his Dark Helmet Spaceballs role for the Goldbergs on ABC,
And
I think it was.
He did, but
Okay.
he just did it as the voice.
Oh, fuck that.
They had somebody else in the suit. But
That's so lame.
I'd never watched the Goldbergs
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
And I'd heard reasonably good things
I've heard
about
great
it.
things about it.
Yeah.
I also heard like the people who direct these shows are great too. Like obviously Kevin Smith has directed one.
Yeah.
Leah Thompson directed one
Really?
or two or a couple. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
But like they have a lot of like 80s legends directing the show.
As well they should.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, that is an absolute unabashed love letter to the 80s.
Yeah, I really need to watch that show.
It's
past its third season, so I can watch it.
Yeah, it hits the rule.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's really like it was good. Like it was the episode's about him starting a Mel Brooks fan club, like and he's fighting to get this Mel Brooks fan club started because Spaceballs had just come out, and he's a big Spaceballs fan, and.
As most of us 80s children are. That's
Right.
That's really how we got like introduced to Mel Brooks was through Spaceballs.
Spaceballs, yeah,
that was the first Mel Brooks movie we saw.
Yep, that was my entrance
That was
fee
mine, yeah.
into Mel Brooks' world.
Yep.
But yeah, so he brings this like in order to get people to join the club, he goes to the school newspaper and is like, hey, I need I want this. He had drawn a cartoon of Dark Helmet like you must come join us. And we will what? And they take it as a political cartoon. They think he's making fun of Ronald Reagan and his new Star Wars program. And stuff
yes,
like that.
yeah.
So they put it on the front page, and the girl he likes is the editor or works for the paper in some capacity, and she likes that he's now political. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, all right, yeah, I'm totally, yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. I'm totally political now. It's not about Mel Brooks. So there's hijinks that ensue there and whatever, and things resolve. It's fine. It's cute. It's wonderful. I mean, it's not going to blow your mind, but the way they get there, the journey is far more important than the resolution. And there's a lot of love in the journey.
Have you watched any of the other episodes since you've seen that one?
No.
Are you going to go back and watch it?
Yeah, I would go back and watch it. It's not a high priority for me.
Right.
Just because there's so much TV on this planet to watch. Like, am I going to put that above Breaking Bad? No. I'm not. I still need to watch Breaking Bad.
You haven't watched Breaking Bad yet?
No.
Jesus Christ, dude.
There's a lot of fucking TV out there, man.
I fucking know, dude.
Dude.
I'm in the middle of watching 18 shows.
Well,
It's ridiculous.
I'm trying to.
I just didn't got the time to watch them all.
And then my wife, who I love dearly, decides to start watching The Killing, the AMC show The Killing.
Which one is that?
It's about a killing in the same way that Aliens was about aliens.
Gotcha.
No, it's one of those like it's set in Seattle. It's about this murder that happens and then the subsequent investigations and cover-ups. Wrong plural. Cover-ups on and the intertwining web. It goes for like 4 seasons, and like she just randomly started fucking watching it one day.
Mm-hmm.
I think while I was doing the play, and kind of stuck with her. So she's got 4 seasons of that to watch.
Right.
Like she's not gonna stop now.
Yeah.
So now I got to compete against the fucking Killing for screen time to get her to watch some other shit.
So.
The fuck.
So I think that's why my viewing has slowed down as well. Because now there are 2 people kind of just not deciding what we're gonna watch.
Yeah.
But like she's watching things separate from me.
Ooh.
So like she's already watched all of like season 2 of Jessica Jones, and I'm still watching it. So like I gotta find time. Like when I'm not doing anything and she's not home, where I can watch that, like she'd sit through it again, but it's like, no, let's not do that. Like there's so many other things we gotta do to watch.
Yeah.
She's not watched Daredevil, so she's watching Daredevil.
Right.
She's watching shows that like I said, oh hey, this is great, and a new season has come out, and she's already started it because she was watching the first season while I'm watching something else. But now she's on to the season that's come out that I haven't been able to watch yet, so she's ahead of me. And now I don't know when I'm going to be able to watch these things.
It's hard. It's hard getting on the same cycle.
Man, I know. Oh, you did not do that.
I did.
You did not.
I did.
Oh, my goodness.
I absolutely did.
No.
I 100% did.
While we are talking about television.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously the hot topic this week was Roseanne.
Jesus.
You know about all that, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're not going to talk about any like should they, what she said. No, we're not going to talk about that.
I work on Twitter for a living.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever your opinion is, it happened. I want to talk about after that. So, did you ever watch the original Roseanne series?
Of course I did.
Okay. Did you watch any of the new one?
I did not.
Okay. So neither did I.
No.
So
I heard it was good.
I heard it was good too,
Yep.
And I heard that it tackled a lot of. Like, it was the old Roseanne in the new era, which I think we need, like the working class family.
Agreed.
And how they whatever. And I heard that they had all kinds of like there was, she had a granddaughter who was African American, and Dan had to like break through, like he had to take a non-union job to help Roseanne because she got sick and didn't have insurance, like all kinds of like real world stuff.
Yeah.
It had already been approved or already been picked up for a second season.
Yeah. Oh god.
And I know that it started. What was her name? Sarah Gilbert. She is on a CBS talk show, morning talk show, kind of like The View. It's called The Talk.
Yes.
I think it's The Talk that she's on.
She's
on one of those morning woman roundtable shows.
The Chew Talk View.
Right, exactly. And she was talking about like how that she wanted to start. So she was one of the executive producers on the show. She was one of like the driving forces to getting it picked back up again. So I feel really bad that like now that the show's been canceled.
Yes.
And I was thinking about like, well, why don't they just like, I know the show's called Roseanne,
right?
But like, what would it look like if they were to go on without it? Because I think I didn't watch it, but I know how important Roseanne was in the 90s.
Yes.
And I believe that a show like that is important today. Agreed. Especially when we have like all the climate being what it is, but all these reality television shows, I like it.
There
right?
was a Netflix show that covers that working class. You're getting.
I'm going to get there. Okay, yes, I'm going to get there.
Okay.
So, I was saying, well, why don't they just? And that's what people say. Well, let's Fox pick it up, Netflix pick it. Somebody will pick it up.
Right.
And like, no, nobody's gonna pick it up, and nobody really wants to work with Roseanne right now. And again, we're not here to talk about what's right or wrong, if they should or shouldn't. That's not what we're talking about. It's not happening, so let's talk about what could happen.
Yes.
So what do you think that show would look like if they were to go on without Roseanne, and what would they call it? What would they do? Because I think you have John Goodman.
You do.
And he's fantastic.
He is.
He is excellent. And obviously people like the show and the topics. From what I hear, again, I have to go by hearsay because I didn't watch it. she wasn't like a real big part of everything anyway.
The creative process.
No, not just the creative process, but like the plots of the show.
Right.
I think you could kind of revamp the show. Now, I was thinking of like if they ever done it before. There's a show in the 80s, early 90s called Valerie. You remember Valerie Harper?
Vaguely remember Valerie.
Something very similar. Like they had a show called Valerie. It was Valerie Harper, single working mom, whatever, with 3 boys, and she had a falling out with producers, and they fired her.
Okay.
So what they did is they killed her off, and they redid the show, and they called it the Hogan Family.
Oh.
So it was all about the family without Valerie after she died.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, if you had this plot where Roseanne was sick, why not just bring everybody? Because it's a sad thing when, what happened was one person did something and they canceled the entire show.
Yes.
And we've talked about before, like, it's not just the people you see on the set. Like, there's hundreds of people who are employed by this one show.
Yeah.
Writers, crew people, makeup, all
Key grips.
Costumes, all this stuff.
Yeah.
There's lots of people.
Yeah.
So instead of just canceling it, let's just remove the one thing that you don't like.
Right.
If that's what's going to happen. Again, we're not saying right or wrong. And let's see what we can make with what we have, because we've got a lot of things in place that people seem to like.
Yes.
So
yes.
what could you do with that? What do you think that you would do?
So being on the Twitters for a living,
Sure.
many people have had these thoughts.
Okay.
And almost, I would say, I don't want to say it's a Twitter record, but there's definitely, it happened real quick. Like all of a sudden you started seeing Jackie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they just took the Roseanne font, wrote the word Jackie,
Sure.
put it on a still picture of her, and they were
Right.
like, "So what about just Jackie?"
Right.
I mean, that hit maybe within 45 minutes,
Of course.
maybe within a half hour,
Which is almost as quick as ABC canceled the show.
Yeah. But it was so that was a big prevalent thing, but that was more the people that subscribe to her worldview on the show were obviously just call the show Jackie. Da,
right.
da, da. But really the tone and the balance is what made that show work, I think. But I'd heard TMZ dropped a report yesterday that they were considering doing a show just based around Sarah Gilbert's character.
Which I think would be great.
But that was an actual rumor, not just left-wing Twitter fantasy.
Sure. So it was a legitimate rumor as opposed to a non-legitimate rumor.
Well, I mean, that was just hoping. That was ask. That was more of an ask rather than a thing. This is an actual ABC was considering doing an actual Sarah Gilbert, maybe spinoff, maybe whatever. Just to because they have the cast, they have the crew, they have everything in it.
Sure.
But I mean, so the question remains: is it enough? Would the people that just watched it for Roseanne stick around for that?
See, I never really. As much as it was called Roseanne, I always I don't remember. I remember Roseanne being snarky and their attitude with the family and her relationship with Dan. But
Yes.
it was the ensemble, it was the characters that I liked. I
Sure.
remembered what Becky was going through.
Yeah. Which Becky?
Both of them,
Yeah.
With her boyfriends and being a typical teenager and what was Sarah Gilbert's character name? What was her name? Darlene.
Darlene, yeah.
I remember Darlene and the David drama, and I remember, John Goodman being a working class blue collar guy.
Yeah.
I remember Jackie and the relationship with that. You can do all those things without Roseanne.
Yeah, it's true.
And make it a good. And I think if you center it, maybe you don't center it around Dan. If he's willing. I mean, he was a co-star in Roseanne, so maybe he's willing to be a co-star. With Sarah Gilbert and
right.
Darlene or the Connors or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You could still have all those things. I think if you have it center around Dan, then maybe there's more of a reason for Jackie to be around. I think if you're going to center around Sarah Gilbert's character, it's more about then it becomes her and her kids and her family, and Dan's a part of that. But maybe you get less DJ, you get less Becky, you get way less Jackie's character. I don't know. I mean, that's
Right.
that's one of the things. Like creatively, like what do you look at? Like, so what is the story you're going to tell here?
Right.
You know, what's the best way? Is there a way that we can just take Roseanne out of it, keep everybody, or is there, do we have to shift focus now? Because that happens.
That does happen. Yeah.
You know?
I mean, what is it? The 10 Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter. I mean, you want to talk about a show that completely switched focus.
I think it was eight
simple rules.
8 simple rules.
For
10 simple rules. 8 simple rules. Yeah.
Eight simple rules
Yep.
for dating. I mean,
Yeah.
like, that was a lighthearted comedy, and then John Ritter dies.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a couple seasons of like, dealing with the loss of a parent.
Yeah.
And, but they kept it, kept it going.
But it became a different show after that.
A vastly different
different show because they wanted to circle around to be about Kathy Siegel, Katie Siegel, you keeping the family together, and then they brought James Garner in to be like her dad.
Yeah, it was James Garner and
David Spade.
Yeah, was it David Spade?
It was David Spade.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, which I think is where they went wrong. I think bringing David Spade, because you went from John Ritter to David Spade and James Garner. Now,
James Garner is great.
James Garner was great, and I think just having it be Katie Siegel, whatever, and James Garner coming in and being like her whatever, then it's about like how she moves on.
Yeah,
the teens are still the teens, but adding the David Spade in there, I think was where they went, where that kind of show like just took a different turn.
Yeah.
Because it was a different type of comedy. David Spade is a different type of comedy.
Yeah, he's
from
like
John
snark.
Ritter.
Yeah.
He's snarky, he's sarcastic, he's kind of... I love David Spade. Let me just throw that out there
first. He's kind of a dick.
I love David Spade, but he's kind of sleazy a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's his brand is...
That's his brand.
His comedic brand is kind of snarky, sarcastic, sleazy.
Like, he's never played, like, even when he tried to do, like, the leading man in, what was the movie? Lost and Found. It just didn't work.
Yeah, no.
Did you ever see Lost and Found?
I don't think I did.
David Spade, and then what was her name? She was in Braveheart. She was the mom.
Sophia Marceau?
Sophia Marceau, yes.
That like the second girl in Braveheart, not the first girl?
Yes.
Not his original wife?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Sophia
She
Marceau.
was the romantic interest in Lost and Found.
Are you kidding me?
No, I am not. Which is why it didn't work. Now, I bought him as like a nice guy. He did a good job, but there was still like, he was mad at the dog. He was mad at he was kind of an asshole to everybody else. He had moments where he was really sweet and really nice, and I bought it. But for the most part, like, you couldn't get over you're an asshole.
David Spade and Sophie Marceau.
Dude, I'm telling you, I have this movie on DVD, sir. I will lend it to you. You need to watch it. Because it's the most ridiculous thing ever.
Can't even process
I know. But that's my point. But that's my point. It just doesn't fit. It's a different.
Did that casting director ever work again after that? Because that is. God, hold on. I have to see at least a picture of this.
Oh, dude. Well, I've seen them kiss. It's actually really just weird.
Oh God.
Lost and Found, David. There you go.
Oh.
There you go. Right there. Not that. That's the cover.
Well, either way, that's...
Oh, go back. No, not that one. The other one. The one that looks like a high school prom photo. Right there.
Oh, that one.
There you go. Look at that.
No.
There's just no way.
No.
She's like 3 feet taller than him.
She is so far out of his league.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
God. That's... What? No. 1999?
1999? Yeah.
I can't even... deal with that's just a Brady Bunch. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I can't.
Now, in real life, dude, like in real life, David Spade has dated some.
Oh, I understand that.
Really attractive women.
No. Again, that's not what I'm saying. But like I'm talking about the David Spade character brand,
right?
Not David.
It doesn't work.
Yeah,
This is not an attack on his himself. Right. It's the character. It's his brand. It's who he plays.
Yeah,
You're right.
I wouldn't buy those two brands. Sophie Marceau,
right?
The David Spade brand, and my hands are at different planes.
Right.
I realize you can't see this, but know that there is a disparaging distance between the two, and I won't tell you how much.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I can't. Wow.
But But that brings us back to the point, like his brand and John Ritter's brand. John Ritter is a family man. He can be a family guy.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
like a family.
Nope. You can't replace him with David Spade.
No.
You know, and I think that maybe what they try to do is get like the kind, sensible grandfather with James Garner,
right.
the acting with James Garner, and then the comedy with David Spade. But it was a different brand of comedy.
Yeah, and James Garner's fucking funny.
He was funny.
Dude, Maverick is great.
Maverick's great. He was funny. And I think for the role that he had, the purpose he had to fill in that show, it would have been fine without him.
Yeah.
You know, it really would have been.
Like, just having her, if you want to have her, like, date, just do it, like, make an excuse to do, like,
he was her
cameos.
cousin.
Oh, really?
He was part of the family.
Oh.
So he was, I think he was Katie Seagal's cousin.
Oh, okay.
Or the kid's cousin. I don't remember. Actually, you know what? I think he was the cousin to the kids. So she was his aunt, and obviously he was the grandpa to all the kids. So he was also, I think, I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. Oh,
I don't remember. I want to think that they were all but he was a cousin. That's how it was.
Oh, I thought
he
he
was
was
like, what was the cousin's name from the Brady Bunch? They brought in.
Right. Oh shit. I don't remember.
Or he was the Leonardo DiCaprio for
Yes.
the younger, cuter one they tried to bring in, but he wasn't younger or cuter
Or Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh,
Although he tried to be in that movie with
did.
Sophie Marceau.
God, I really want to see this.
I've got it, dude. I'll let you borrow it.
He's naked and he's holding a dog in front of his junk next to Sophie. I can't.
I don't even know how to process any part of this information.
I've never seen that tagline before. One of these dogs must be spayed.
Like,
And it's capitalized.
yeah.
Wow, that's awful.
And well, it's also spelled like his last name and not Spayed.
Right. That's wow.
That must be the most.
You know what's really funny in that movie? The dog is a boy too, and you don't spade
I know.
boys.
I know. Really? This is the part of the movie you're going to start taking umbrage with?
Well, this is the marketing of it. That's
Yeah.
what I look at it. And go,
Well,
that doesn't
the
make
marketing
sense.
is terrible because it's clearly not his face on that body.
No, it's not. Well,
Look at the
no,
size of his head.
well, that's an awful Photoshop job.
Yeah. Well, this is
What is it, 99?
It was 99, so pre-Photoshop.
Maybe, like, or pretty
Early-
really good
early Photoshop.
Yeah, 99.
boy.
God, I don't even know.
Artie Lang is in this as well.
Oh yeah, Artie Lang plays his this guy who wants to be like works at the restaurant and wants to be like him. Yeah, it's funny. At some point, Artie Lang has like David Spade hair.
I can't.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I can't even talk about this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't.
You want to talk about Avengers or something?
David Spade does a Neil Diamond impression in this movie. Like he actually like starts singing like Neil Diamond. It's hilarious.
He's done that in a different movie as well.
Oh, I don't remember. No, he did in this movie.
He's done. Oh my god! Like he did a Neil Diamond in. God, what it was? It was Saving Silver. Not
He wasn't
Saving-
in Saving Silverman.
No. Hold on. Let me find this out. David Spade, Neil Diamond.
Yeah. Was in Brothers?
That's from Lost and Found.
Where he sings the Brother Loves Traveling
Yes,
Salvation
that's
show?
from Lost and Found.
I guess I have seen that movie then, or at least
You've seen that clip.
that.
You've probably seen that clip, man.
I mean, it wasn't the clip. No, I saw it in the
On like an actual TV screen.
Okay. Well,
But
yeah.
maybe I didn't.
Maybe you didn't watch the whole movie.
Maybe I didn't watch the whole movie.
Is Martin Sheen is the guy or Martin Sheen's wife is what he's singing for. Yeah, that's from Lost and Found, dude.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, I have seen that, or at least seen that part.
Yeah.
I just never associated it with.
Can we talk about something else?
Well, let's go back to the original question. Like, so you've seen the Twitterverse blew up.
Yeah.
What they could possibly do. Like, what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: is there anything that they could do that you go, "That's interesting. I'd like to check that out," knowing what you know of the original Roseanne?
You know what I would have had they not picked up Last Man Standing. I think throwing a Tim Allen in there would have been interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you know who I think would be another good fit in there? Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe?
Mm-hmm. He actually plays Tim Allen's brother on Last Man Standing.
Oh, does he?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Did they? They did pick that back up.
They did pick that. Yeah,
Fox did, right?
Yep,
Yeah, that's
Fox
why.
picked it
That's
back
why they're
up.
calling for Fox to pick up Roseanne.
Yep.
Wow. I don't know if Tim Allen would be good.
Maybe, I mean, but like, if you're gonna get that,
I think what you need to do, you wouldn't pick somebody up to put them in the starring role, obviously, because if you're gonna do that, you either do it with Laurie Metcalf or John Goodman.
Right, but I'm saying like you could do the Laurie Metcalf and then have her start dating like.
I personally think that I think if you're going to continue it on, if you're going to take Roseanne and continue it on, then you make it about Dan. And Dan,
I think that's a solid argument.
Being
I was just
the head of
come up with something that
family.
wasn't that argument.
Sure, but if you're going to make it like about Sarah Gilbert and Darlene, then it's got to be a completely different show.
I agree.
With like it would be almost kind of like Fuller House.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Where it's about the kids, and then John Goodman comes on for like an appearance or two, and sometimes or whatever. So I don't know. That's what I think. So Netflix did, while they are not picking up Roseanne, they did get into, they did throw a little shade at Roseanne and
As
ABC.
Netflix does.
They have
a wonderful Twitter account.
They have a remake. They do. Snarky seems to be the way to go on Twitter.
It's weird.
It's really weird, and I bet snarky people make a wonderful living on Twitter.
Some people do.
Do you think?
I'm pretty sure.
So Netflix has they remade One Day at a Time. And this version is about a Latino family. Mm-hmm. And Netflix, it was was it the day of? Almost the day of. It was either the day of or the day after. I think it was the day of.
Yeah.
They tweeted out, they said, reminder, One Day at a Time is a sitcom about a tight-knit working class family that tackles extremely topical social issues in a smart and innovative way. If you're suddenly looking for a show like that. that was their tweet.
Yeah.
And it was fucking amazing and spun because that's what people were bitching about. Like, oh, this is a tight knit working class family that tackles all kinds of social issues that we need. And Netflix was like, yeah, we got that.
If you're in the market for it,
if you're looking for something like that,
mayhaps,
and they do.
Yep.
I was actually surprised that One Day at a Time is doing so well.
I've never seen the original.
I had. It was a good show.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to like determine what's good on Netflix or not, because the way this actually might be a topic for our next show.
All right.
How do you determine what is a popular Netflix show? What is a successful Netflix show? You don't have to answer that right now.
I can answer that right now.
Okay.
So you can measure popularity in metrics. Now, Netflix owns those numbers.
Yep.
And Netflix does not
they
give
will
out
never give those numbers out.
That is very accurate. However, Nielsen, while they cannot track digital stuff, they have to insert their. I say this having actually worked for Nielsen. They would have to digitally insert like they track what you watch on a it's not Chrome Stick. It's not what's the other one? What's the other plug and play? It's not the damn it! I have one in my fucking bedroom.
Roku?
Yeah,
Roku.
Yeah, they have a partnership with Roku.
Okay.
So they can track what you watch on
Roku.
Okay. On certain channels that they have.
I was gonna say, but can they track what you watch on Netflix on a Roku?
No. But the other thing they do is they actually have, for certain Nielsen families, they have an audio setup to where it'll actually listen for key things. And it'll be able to determine what you're watching. Like, it's just a little speaker next to your speaker.
Okay.
And then it'll determine what you're watching based on the actual
audio
wave listening patterns of it. So it's not direct numbers. Obviously, Netflix has those direct numbers. Mm-hmm. So there's that direct way of doing it. Mm-hmm. Plus, you can also measure sentiment online. You can measure like the way people talk about.
I was just going to say that's probably a good way you could track what people are talking about or what's trending.
Yes.
Sure.
And Google uses Chromecast, and they can tell when. Now they can't tell you what you do, but they can tell you, based on what you Google immediately after accessing your Chromecast.
Sure.
That's tied into the same thing. They'll be able to give you a certain sentiment of that as well.
Here's what I was going to say. I measure it based on what I see on my newsfeed.
My gut.
what I see in my newsfeed.
Yes.
So like if everybody's talking about, like articles that I read or all of my friends or, things that are trending, like things come up, memes, things like that. Like,
Sure.
like, there's been lots of talk about, there's been pick something popular right now. What are people talking about? What are people excited about?
God, it's hard. That's not political.
Yeah, I know.
It's really
It really, really is.
I would
really is.
say honestly, the Roseanne thing, which
Right.
is also political, but not.
Truth.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. Well, when Roseanne came out, like 20
Yeah.
million people were watching it, so I
Yeah.
knew that was pretty popular.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody was talking about. People.
Stranger Things is a good example.
Stranger
of
Things
that.
is a great example
Yeah.
of that. So, but my social circle, what I have been allowed to see, nobody's talking about Santa Clarita Diet, but that was picked up for a third season.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I kind of lost interest, but it was popular enough to pick up a third season.
Yeah.
One day at a time, it was like it just showed up. There were no commercials about it. Nobody was talking about it. Nobody's sharing on Facebook that they're watching it. But then all of a sudden, season 2 comes on. I was like, oh shit, I didn't even know about this.
Yeah.
It must be doing well.
Yeah.
Or at least well enough for Netflix.
Well, but that's the thing, though. There's who you know, and then there's, it's outside of your scope. Like, I consider that I have a reasonably diverse group of people that I follow in my social circles.
You do, yes.
And even that is reasonably impartial, or that's not the opposite of that. That's still like not a true representation of everybody.
Agreed. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Statistically, more so. Like,
Yeah.
I don't just know enough people to make that true.
Yeah, you're
so
right.
there could be large swaths of people that love something that you will never know because you are not friends with any of them.
Right. Well, and that's... Yeah, we could tie that back to a lot of things.
Right,
We've
yes.
learned that a lot.
Yes, we have learned
If
that.
2016
Has
taught
you
us anything,
Yeah.
it's that there's a big pocket of people that are doing and liking things that we don't like that you never knew about, but they're out there in
Well, it's not even
droves.
things that you don't like. It's just they're just different.
Different.
Yes.
Yeah.
They share a different worldview. They've had different experiences,
Right.
and they do different things. And entertainment is no different.
Yeah.
From that. Entertainment is not different from that at all.
Sure.
I don't know. I think that's, but I think it's an interesting way of tying politics and entertainment together in a very data driven kind of way. Like, people clearly liked
Last Man Standing.
or I was going to say Santa Clara Diet.
Sure. Okay.
But like, I never watched it. I didn't know anybody that actually watched it, but clearly
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, yeah.
The first season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
Oh, yeah. I did not know you even watched it.
Okay.
I mean, because you didn't talk about it.
Sure.
But I don't know. I just kind of trailed off there. You really threw me back with your I did.
You didn't know anybody. Okay, we'll go back to you didn't know anybody who watched it.
Yeah.
Because nobody was talking about it.
Nobody was talking about
Right.
it. Like, so I couldn't have, like, in my worldview,
Well, see,
it's like, well, this is crap.
And I
Clearly
didn't
nobody
talk
gives a
about it
shit
because not a lot of people I knew were
Right.
like talking about it.
It's
so I
the
was like,
secret.
all right, well, whatever.
It's like, hey, man,
Yeah.
you watch that Santa
It's
Clara
funny,
Diet?
like I was thinking about this the other day. I don't share everything that I do or go to. Like I checked in when I went to see Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
But I didn't check in when I went to see Solo. A Star
I
Wars
never
story.
check in to see.
I do sometimes.
movies. I never
because
do it.
it's like, hey, I'm seeing this, so let's start the conversation about like how good it was, or
Yeah.
talking about it, or whatever. So yeah, or it's my other way of like, because people go, hey, did you see this? Like this is my way of going, okay, I saw it.
Just
Here it
letting
is.
people know.
Just letting you guys know I'm seeing
saw
it.
it, yeah.
So now we can, now you can spoil it for me, or now we can talk about spoilers.
Yeah.
Because I made a big stink about that on my Facebook about spoiling Avengers.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was like, dude, you fucking breathe about Avengers and we will have words.
Yeah.
So I shared it because I was like, all right, now you guys, you're good to go.
Yes.
You can talk about it now. I don't care.
You could find me and talk to me about
Right,
things,
exactly.
and I will not shush you.
Yes.
Relentlessly.
Yes. And I like that. I was spoiler free going
Nice.
into Avengers.
Quick thing before we wrap up.
Yeah.
And we probably should have done an episode about this, but we didn't because
Okay.
we weren't Avengers. Yes?
Okay.
No? You liked it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I question like So by now, most people have seen it, and we won't spoil everything. But there were deaths.
Yeah. There's a dour tone to it.
Yes.
Let's call it
Yes, I liked that. But, like, how shocking was a lot of that? Because we know there's sequels coming out.
Right.
So...
Does it de-teeth some of the...
Well, here's the thing. Like... All right, I'll have to say this. I'll have to say this to you off air.
Okay.
But it doesn't de-teeth it. Like, it was still powerful.
Sure.
You know, there was one particular that I was like, oh God.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah.
Wow. Like that for me, like the performance itself, that was like, wow, that was what moved me. It wasn't the fact that so and so, is gone.
Yeah.
It was the way they went. It was like, wow, that was good. All right. Well, if you're gonna try to sell me on this.
Yep.
Even though I know they'll be back.
Yep.
All right. Fine. But it's more of like, all right, let's see what happens next. I was surprised on who they chose and not surprised on others.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But
it's very interesting.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. I appreciated the fact that they were able to. One of the questions everybody had going in was, how are they going to fit everybody into this movie? And the way they could do that was just by jumping into it.
Yeah.
There really was like, okay, look, guys, you've had like 18,000 movies to kind of set this up.
Yeah.
You know what's going on. If you didn't see Iron Man, you didn't see Thor Ragnarok, you didn't see Guardians, you're going to be screwed.
Yeah.
That's on you.
If this is your first Avengers,
right.
If this is your first movie in the Marvel Universe,
right. It was
that's
unapologetic and like, listen, if you don't know what's going on, that's on you because we're just going to get right into it.
We're
not going to back it. We're not going to set up any story for you.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you who this guy is, where this person's been, why this is an awkward moment between these two characters. It was in 3 movies ago. If you didn't see it, fuck you.
Right. Yeah.
Basically, that's what they said.
Yeah. And I enjoyed that.
I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have to wait for them to get in. They were just like, boom, here it is.
They rewarded you for your movie watching
They
experience.
did, and I
really
appreciated
did.
that
Yeah.
because very rarely are you usually just all right. We're gonna go set this up for like the people who haven't seen it before.
All right,
okay.
let me get this straight. They're gonna go down a dark alley called Crime Alley, and they're gonna get shot. And pearls will magically cascade, sometimes in slower.
A wallet, blood, pearls. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. Thanks.
Chill.
Well, that was one of the things I liked about the new Spider-Man, Homecoming.
Oh shit! All right, we're gonna touch on this really quick.
Oh Jesus, this will be a 2-hour show.
It's not gonna be a 2-hour show.
Okay.
I watched Justice League. I watched it.
Okay.
I watched Justice League.
Okay.
I watched it from the beginning. And then I stopped at the end.
Okay.
I watched it all the fucking way through.
All right.
All right, it was there's a part in it which is a flashback to the first time Captain Slashy-Axe, I don't fucking remember.
Captain Slashy-Axe?
The bad guy, the big
Steppenwolf?
Steppenwolf, thank you. So the first time Steppenwolf attacked Earth. And my God, I would watch a movie like that. Flashback was far more interesting than the entirety of the rest of that fucking movie.
Right.
Like, I mean, there was really good parts to it. I like Momo as Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that. The kid playing Flash was good.
Okay.
It was cool. It was a cool character. Like, I'm like, oh, this could be a good solo movie.
Mm-hmm.
If they do a solo movie with him, I could see that being good. In the Wonder Woman sense, same thing with the Aquaman. Like, I'm like, I could see that being good. Superman's fucking wet noodle.
Yep.
The Batman Wonder Woman thing's fine.
Do they have like a romantic thing going on?
No romantic thing. Just, they're the first two
right
to kind of like,
which is awful.
Yeah, there's a lot of really just, and it's not that it's any of it's like really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's that it's all just painfully almost mediocre. Like, you're really just kind of slogging through this movie until it stops.
Right.
Like, there's no outside of that flashback, which is cool because it's the Amazons, the
Atlanteans.
Yeah, Atlanteans and the tribes of men, all like this giant army battle against Steppenwolf and his minions.
Right.
And and it's Wonder Woman telling this story. And
Oh, was she there?
No, this was pre her.
Oh, okay.
This is pre her, but this is where you get the what's her name in the flashback?
Robin Wright Penn.
Yeah, Robin Wright Penn.
Or Robin Wright now. I guess, right? It's not Penn anymore.
Yeah, right. Robin Wright in the flashback.
Okay.
And it's all of the gods get involved in the fight as well. So you see like
Zeus and
Ares and Zeus and Artemis and stuff like that in the fight, and you're like, oh, holy shit! Like this is actually kind of cool,
right?
And like like Artemis is taking out spaceships with a fucking like magical lightning bow, and you're like, just fucking make this movie, like make that movie.
You think? I think that might be one of the things that is working against the DC universe here, the DC movie universe.
Yeah.
Because Marvel, they tried to do too much too soon. I think, and you could talk about, well, they went team instead of individual movies, so we didn't know these characters, blah 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 blah. I think it's more of like they took the fantastical and tried to at a time where we weren't looking for the fantastical. I think what they should have done is spent 3 movies talking about Batman and grounding Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, right? And then they tried to ground Superman, and then they tried to do fantastical with Superman, Batman v Superman,
right?
Like they're really fantastical.
I would say that was their first mistake, was Batman v Superman. I agree. I think they should have done, like, after Superman, they should have done a Wonder Woman movie. Then they should have done, like, they should have followed the formula.
Sure. Well, and because I think that Wonder Woman was fantastical, but it was done in a way that it was easier to swallow. It was an easy pill to swallow.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah. And that's what like Marvel did. Like they started with Iron Man, and it was very like, okay, these two guys, and then they used their smarts and suits, and then okay, so then we're gonna go with. We'll do the Hulk, which is something that's a little bit science-driven, a little fantastic. We'll do okay. Thor that was very fantastical, but it was off of Earth, and when it came to Earth, it was kind of believable because he was stripped of everything. I think, and then they built up to the part where we're at Avengers Infinity War now. There's spaceships and there's aliens and there's other worlds and there's time travel, all this stuff, right? But I think DC just tried to give us too much too soon, too quickly. Like, we have to buy into the whole Superman, Batman thing. We have to buy into Wonder Woman. We have to buy into the Flash. We have to buy into, all of these things. And just now you're talking about a war of all of these different tribes of people who we don't even know exist yet. And the gods that are fictional gods that might be, and all these things. It's just too much.
But like, the gods part didn't bother me in the slightest, because, I mean, I understand that Wonder Woman is the Thor of the Greek pantheon.
Right.
That is, like, I mean...
Right, and if it was just
Thor
that...
is the Wonder Woman of the Norse pantheon.
Right.
Either way
you want to look at it. And that's fine. If you do that in the Wonder Woman movie, you could do that. That's fine. But you're trying to do all of these things at once.
It's a lot.
You tried to force that Batman, Superman... They're forcing everything.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
No,
I agree. I absolutely agree. There's some moments where you're like... Oh, this could be something like that. Like, there are moments that I watch and there's banter between Superman and Batman, and I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I could see you're almost like, oh, you're close, and that's the thing that bothered me about the movie. I would say was everything was so, oh, you aimed and you missed,
right?
You just missed it. Oh shit. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, there's potential there, like, and I think that's the part for me. That's the part that hurts me the most.
It's like they jumped out of the airplane, but they forgot to open their chute.
Right.
And they splatted on Earth.
It's like, oh, because I want you to succeed.
Right.
I want you to make a good movie. It's not that I revel in your failure.
Right.
I'm disappointed by your lack of success. Like, and that's the part that hurts me the most. It's not that I'm, dancing on your grave.
Yeah, I think you actually said something that I've been feeling for a while that I've never been able to articulate. Like, it's Batman. Like, I fucking love Batman.
Yeah.
Like, I love Superman. I love these characters. Love the Justice League.
Yes.
Like, there are versions of these characters out there that I've loved and still continue to love. And the fact that they're just not getting it. It's not that they're doing it and they're failing and I just want them to fail. It's I want them to succeed.
Yeah.
I want them to succeed more than Marvel.
Agreed.
I want to see a fantastical movie where Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and Flash and Green Lantern and these characters all come together, and it's awesome. You know, I want to see that cartoon that I love on the screen.
And I think that's the problem.
It's not just the cartoon, though.
No. It's that you've seen it.
We've seen it already. Yeah. We haven't seen it work with the Avengers and Marvel. We've seen it work with, you're right.
And I really think I'll say just for us, but I would say even people of our ilk and generation, like that watch that cartoon, that's the issue. Like, I have seen what a good version of this is. I've absolutely seen it succeed and care about fucking characters, and like to the point where they get into the deep cuts. Like, I loved the Question. Like, they made me like the fucking Question.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's really impressive. He's not a top tier fucking DC character.
No, he's like
he wasn't even a DC character for the longest time.
He's like an E character.
Right.
He's not A, he's not B, he's not C. He's like more like Q.
He's up the alphabet a bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, they invested the time and the effort into the storylines and the characters and the arcs to be able to really take some chances. Like, they had an entire Booster Gold episode.
They did.
And it was a good Booster Gold episode. Like, there's opportunity there, and we've seen it succeed, and that's why the failure hurts.
Yeah, you're right.
That's it. I'm going to stop now.
Yeah, we need to, because we're supersized Matt and Dave episode. But it's the first one in like a month or so.
We can go over a little bit.
Hopefully, you all tuned in this long, and forgive us for the fact that
we're like at an hour 15. It's okay.
Really? Oh, that's not that bad.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
it's fine.
All right, good.
It's fine.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week.
Yeah, we've missed you.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Mr. Carter. What?
Is that how he says it?
That's how he says it.
All right.
Carter. Something like that. Yeah, we're out. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye.